13. Indirect derivation second form. In addition to indirect derivation of the first form, we also add indirect derivation of the second form, which is very similar to the first form. Consider the following derivation problem. 1pqpr 2pqpr 3q. The same problem as before arises. We have no simple means of dealing with either premise. 3 is atomic, so we must show it by direct derivation, but that approach comes to a screeching halt. Once again, let's do something sneaky but completely legal. And see where that leads. 1pqpr 2pqpr 3q? 4q? We have written down an additional show line which is completely legal, remember. The new problem facing us to show q appears much more promising. Specifically, we are trying to show a negation, so we can attack it using indirect derivation, which yields the following part derivation. 1pqpr 2pqpr 3q? 4q id 5q s6 dd7 pages 1, 5, 08 pages 2, 5, 097, 8, the derivation is not complete. Line 3 is not cancelled. We are trying to show q. We have in fact shown q. This is an error because we can apply double negation to line 4 to get q. This yields the following completed derivation. 1pqpr 2pqpr 3q dd4q id 5q s6 dd7 pages 1, 5, 08 pages 2, 5, 097, 8, I10q4, dn. This derivation presents something completely novel. Upon getting to line 9, we have shown q, which is marked by cancelling the show and boxing off the associated derivation. We can now use the formula q in connection with the usual rules of inference. In this particular case, we apply double negation to obtain line 10. This is in accordance with the following principle. As soon as one cancels a show line a, thus obtaining a, the formula a is available, at least until the show line itself gets boxed off. In order to abbreviate the above derivation somewhat, we enhance the method of indirect derivation so as to include, in effect, the above double negation maneuver. The intuitive formulation of this rule is given as follows. Indirect derivation second form intuitive formulation. In order to show a formula a, it is sufficient to show, assuming its negation a. As usual, the official formulation of the rule is more complex. System Rule 9 is show rule indirect derivation second form. If one has a show line a, then if one has as a later available line, and there are no intervening uncancelled show lines, then one is entitled to cancel a and box off all subsequent formulas. The annotation is ID System Rule 10 an assumption rule. If one has a show line a, then one is entitled to write down the negation a on the very next line, as an assumption. The annotation is as usual. We also offer a pictorial version of the rule. Indirect derivation second form AA. With this new show rule in hand, we can now rewrite our earlier derivation, as follows. Example 1 1pqpr 2pqpr 3q dd4q s5 dd6 pages 1, 4, 07 pages 2, 4, 086, 7, in this particular problem, is obtained by I from P and P. Let's look at one more example of the second form of indirect derivation. Example 2 1p and qpr 2p qcd 3p s4q id 5q s6 dd7 p and q3, 5, and I8 1, 7. In this derivation we show pq by conditional derivation, which means we assume p and show q. This is shown, in turn, by indirect derivation second form, which means we assume q to show. In this particular problem, is obtained by I from p and q